Welcome to Lounging with Laurie. This is the pep talk you didn't know you needed. Here I share bold truths, personal stories, not just mine, of course, but from some incredible guests as well. This is our nudge to keep moving ourselves towards the life we actually want. So stick around and join me on the journey. We're actually aiming for the 5% club, whether we talk about it or not. Ever ticked a box, hit a big goal, and then sat there thinking, wait, is this it? Well, this happens for me sometimes, and I'm sure I'm not the only person. I feel like we are spending so much time striving for more and for the next thing that we forget to actually live. And if you're, like myself, ambitious, but you're starting to wonder if you're missing the point, then this one is for you. Now, I love goals. I mean, I talk about them all the time, maybe too much actually for some people, but I need them. They drive me. They give me purpose. I find that if I don't have a goal, I don't have the motivation and drive, and I actually fall out of routine. And then when I fall out of routine, I don't necessarily like the version that I am. So for me, they're really important. What I've learned over time, and particularly through listening to podcasts and talking to people, really this past year, maybe 2 years, is that chasing goals without joy and fun and being present makes me feel empty. Because you don't really feel proud or happy, you're certainly not present, and sometimes you don't even feel like yourself anymore, right? So these are all the feelings that I've been going through. So today I thought I would just do my quick little pep talk today on 3 reasons why reaching the goal doesn't always land as you expected, and then how we can shift that starting today. In this episode, I'm going to cover what dopamine is in the simplest form and why we get addicted to chasing. I'm going to talk about why the finish line keeps moving. We keep moving those goalposts, and then how skipping that joy and happiness disconnects us from the life we're actually working for. So the dopamine loop. Dopamine is a feel-good chemical in our brain. And I mean, most people know this. I know this already. But here's the catch. It spikes when you're in the pursuit of something. It doesn't spike when you've hit that achievement. So what happens is we get addicted to progress, not the completion of something, which really explains so much if you think about it, because you finally hit that goal, and instead of, that big emotional joy moment, you're already thinking, what's the next thing? Cool, I've hit this, what's next? And the world rewards this as well, if you think about it. We've got this, you've probably heard of it, hustle culture. And the hustle culture really, it celebrates those people that are constantly grinding away at something. It doesn't stop, pause, and say to those that are hitting their goals, I'm happy right here, right now, for a minute. Meaning, no one's congratulating you. And even worse, yourself, you're not patting yourself on the back and congratulating yourself either. Even celebrities and elite athletes talk about this. I mean, Michael Phelps won, 28 Olympic medals? Yet publicly he has shared that after every major games, he sank into depression. Because that moment passes, and if you're not grounded in something deeper, you're left asking, who am I without this chase? Even when I moved overseas, I had this vision, that I'd meet incredible people, like new people. I thought my businesses would absolutely boom, and it would all feel exciting and really full and joyous, right? The reality, though, it's taken nearly a year to feel settled. I think it's about the last 10 months I've been working hard. And when things did finally click, it didn't feel like fireworks. It was still quiet, but it made me realize that the process, or let's think of the journey, is the fun part, is the happiness part. It's the exciting part. It's not the outcome that I'm chasing. And even though I can say, I know this, you forget it and you need to be reminded. I'll ask you this. Have you ever reached a goal and barely paused before rushing into the next project or the next plan or the next expectation? That right there, that's dopamine addiction in action. And the worst part, even when we do achieve something, we don't often let ourselves feel it because of this next point, which is moving the finishing line. We keep moving that goalpost. No one tells you the finish line moves, but it always does. For example, you lose weight, but now you want abs. Or you land the role or the job, but now you want the promotion. Or you hit the income goal, but now you want to double it. The bar keeps rising. Is that always a bad thing? No. Growth is absolutely fundamental and it's amazing. But if you never stop to feel proud in that moment, if you never ask yourself why the next goal matters, it can become just absolutely exhausting. And it comes back to, we do this all the time, celebrate the wins. Yes, celebrate those achievements. What's quite upsetting actually is that when you do have a win, it's interesting to see the people that celebrate with you. I find half the time no one even acknowledges it other than, maybe mum, your bestie, and some random people you don't necessarily know, but they're inspired by you. But it's not necessarily the friends or who you think are your friends. It's quite interesting, and have a look at that. I think goals evolve with our age. They change, based on our energy, our relationships, our values. And that's just wisdom. When I think about my goals at 25, they shouldn't look the same as they do now. They're supposed to change. They're supposed to move and shift. Like, what matters is whether you're moving towards what you want, or maybe it's what you think you should want. We get stuck in what, society tells us how we should be living or what we should, do. And we can get stuck in that cycle too. That happened to me when I left the army. When I left the army, for me, that was when I realized that I was finally making my own decisions. I wasn't doing what my dad wanted me to do. I wasn't doing what the army told me to do or anybody else. I was making my own decisions, not trying to fulfill other people's expectations. So I'll ask you this: where have you moved your own finishing line or your goalpost? And where have you moved it so far into the future that you've really robbed yourself of the win you've already earned? I speak to so many women, primarily men too, but mainly a lot more women here, that never seem to feel happy that they've achieved anything. And it's not because they haven't achieved it. They certainly have. They're just not noticing it or identifying it. And they're most certainly not celebrating it. So I need to change that. We need to change this script here, because we're all achieving something almost every day. We're just missing it, which is part 3, really, is missing the joy. And sometimes we miss it because we think we don't deserve it yet or haven't quite got there. Or we tell ourselves we'll enjoy life after the launch, after the event, after the milestone or the win. But there really is a big cost to something like this. And if we keep saying no to fun, no to going out and playing, no to resting, then we're saying no to the very life we're working for. And I've done it many times. I used to be more playful and cheeky. I used to be a bit more present, more lighthearted. But then I got serious. Life got heavy. I took all the world's problems, all the business problems in and, let them sit right there on my shoulders. And it's taken me time to reclaim the parts of me that felt fun. And I've said this in previous podcasts, how do you remember, people ask, how do you remember what fun is for you? And my little tip here, who I just spoke to someone about this actually 3 days ago, I'm giving her this little task too. And I said to her, reach out. By the way, I did this myself. Reach out to 2 or 3 people that knew the old version of you, the version of you that was fun and happy, and ask them, what am I doing when you look at me in the past and I'm happy and I'm my thriving self? What am I doing? And I did this with 3 different people from 3 different areas of my life, and they all gave me the same answers, which was absolutely fantastic. So 5 of them were the same and 2 answers were slightly different, but it reminded me of who I am when I started to feel lost. And from there, once you work out what those things are, bring them back into your life. And like if it's catching up with someone or, for coffee or hosting a little tea party or something like that, then arrange it, get it on the calendar. That's how far you've got to take this process. So for me, it's taken time to reclaim the parts of me that felt fun. And like I said, and I did that little exercise right there. And the thing is, I don't think you ever go back to the version of yourself that we're talking about here. You never go back to that fun version of Loza because you've evolved. You're more wise, of course, but you find a new version of yourself and a new version of joy. A few months back, it wasn't even months actually, it was a few weeks ago. I took Lulu to the Agility Dog Park, grabbed a coffee on the way, and just played with her in the sun. And we only spent about 45 minutes there, but it was the perfect start to a Sunday. And another thing that I did recently was I finally said yes to a weekend away with a bestie. She took her pups, I took mine. It was something so easy to organize, but I'd just been too busy for it. And we had the most amazing time. I actually went back with Lulu by myself 2 weeks later. But it reminds me, it's these little simple things. That's the whole point of life. So if your calendar is full of admin and achievement, then where is the joy? When is the next moment for you? Not your business, not your inbox, just for you personally. And you're allowed to have both, by the way. Structure, bit of spontaneity, goals, giggles, rest, revenue, income. You don't have to go out and earn all of this joy and happiness in your life. You just have to say yes to it. Goals are powerful. They give us direction and purpose. But if we're constantly chasing without celebrating, striving without stopping, building without being, then we're going to miss life. And that's why sometimes, when I do these goal setting sessions with women too, we spend a moment reflecting on how far we've already come, because it's so important. Sometimes it's not about the next big thing. Maybe it's about remembering why you started and then just allowing that joy to become part of that plan again. I just want to remind you that you don't have to earn feeling proud or celebrating a win. You don't have to wait to enjoy your life. The goal isn't to tick all the boxes. The goal is to feel more like you, the authentic version of you. I could talk about this all the time. It's intentional living. The goal is to live intentionally, staying aligned with you, creating and designing a life that you want, but having fun along the way. Enjoy the journey. Okay, so wrapping this up. Cut it, keep it, claim it. For me, cut it this week is the pressure to always be productive. Keep it is my ambition. It's not the enemy. Claim it, enjoying the journey. Alongside chasing my goals, enjoying that journey. So I'll finish off with my final saying, big dreams, small steps. Let's start moving. Keep showing up, keep backing yourself, and I'll see you guys in the next episode. Thank you for joining us on the Sisterhood Collective podcast. Remember to hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out on any upcoming episodes. And if you want to be the first to hear what is new at Sisterhood Collective, you can find out more on our Instagram, or you can sign up to receive our weekly newsletter and let the good times continue to roll. Now it's time to turn your clear vision into bold action. I'm Laurie Drummond, your host, and until next time, keep striving to live that best life. Take care, and we'll see you soon.